Good morning, Mueller junkies. This is AG, and I'm very proud and excited to announce that we've smashed over 100,000 downloads, and to celebrate, we'll be hosting MSW Live this July 3rd at the world-famous Comedy Store in San Diego. We'll do some comedy sets, have some past guests join us, and answer all your Mueller questions live in a panel Q&A. So plan your summer vacation now and join us in San Diego on July 3rd at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. VIP tickets are available for a pre-panel cocktail meet and greet, where you can hang out with AG, Jaleesa, Jordan, and some of our other past guests. And our business partners will be there. As always, patrons will get a discount code on regular and VIP tickets, so head over to the MuellerSheWrote.com website to become a patron today, and we'll see you on the 3rd of July. This podcast may contain laughter.
So to be clear, Mr. Trump has no financial relationships with any Russian oligarchs.
That's what he said. That's what I said. That's obviously what our position is.
I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians.
What do I have to get involved with Putin for? I have nothing to do with Putin. I've never spoken to him. I don't know anything about him other than he will respect me. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
So, it is political. You're a communist.
No, Mr. Green. Communism is just a red herring. Like all members of the oldest profession, I'm a capitalist.
Hello, welcome to Mueller, She Wrote, episode 26. 26 weeks since the first indictments. And never a dull moment. I'm AG, your anonymous host, ethically complying with the Hatch Act, unlike some folks in the White House. I work for the executive branch of the government. I'd like to keep that job, so I go by AG. With me, as always, is Jordan Coburn.
Oh, switching it up. Hello.
And Jaleesa Johnson.
Hey, guys.
How was your week?
You know, I'm in Twitter jail right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it feels like, have you guys seen Ready Player One yet?
Yes.
Oh, we're all caught up. Okay. Yeah, it feels like the internet is like everything to me, and now I feel like I'm disconnected from like the universe.
Is this related to that screenshot I sent to you that said you couldn't see
exactly?
So they halted your account
just temporarily. Yeah.
What for?
She updated her phone number and sent it to Twitter, and they're just taking their sweet time.
Sweet time. I wonder if like black people are disproportionately Twitter jailed. You think?
I wonder.
I'm kidding. Nothing to do with race. I just couldn't help. But yeah, it'll be fine in a few days. But there is a hashtag Free Jaleesa going on. So
really,
yeah.
Nice.
Some of the Mueller She Wrote fans are like trying to get Twitter to check their email. So it might work.
Nice.
But the confirmed reason that you're halted is because of unverified phone number.
Correct. That's what all they want is
that's
me
what
to.
They're saying.
Well, they want me to send a text. You know how they like do the code thing, and so it's my old number, so I can't send them the code. So now I have to wait until they update my new number.
Got it.
It's unfortunate.
You are missed.
Yeah,
on Twitter.
I feel so disconnected.
You'll be back soon.
Yeah.
I was at an amazing leadership seminar all week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty tired. It was a lot of work, but it was well worth it. We took the Myers-Briggs personality test. Have you guys taken that?
Yeah.
Do you know what you are?
I do.
What is it?
ENFP.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I forget because the letters are confusing. yeah. I remember the general result.
So you're
was
an
outgoing.
ISFP. Okay.
There you go. Hey.
What are you?
I'm an ENTJ.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So we're all different letters.
At one point in my life, I was an ENTJ, and now I'm an ENFP.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I'm pretty on the border for those last two.
I got it. So you were
I used to want to be an EMT, but blood makes me queasy. Yeah. No, it's really cool. So what does that mean about you? Like what is your...
Well, like my strengths are leadership and all that other stuff, but my weaknesses are, here's what they said: dismissing the feelings of others, ignoring pragmatic details, and making decisions too quickly. And I'm sorry, but those sound like strengths to me, so I don't get it.
So I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I also apparently don't take criticism very well. Whatever.
Well, neither does Comey. We talked about this. Yeah.
Yeah, Comey's probably an ENTJ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mine was the campaigner is the ENFP.
Yeah, like you're good with people. Yeah.
Just fake as fuck.
No.
I'm just kidding.
You're like an Obama.
It was just
right?
a joke.
Yeah, you're totally top 40. Anyway, it was a fun seminar. I had a good time. I go back in for a week in June and a week in August.
Oh,
so.
cool. With the same group of people?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
All right. So today, Jordan, you're going to talk about the amazing Trump Fox meltdown.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
so excited. And Jaleesa is going to give us a Brody Nader update. Mm-hmm. And I'll be talking about the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence final giant 223-page report. That's the HIC, House Intelligence Committee.
Oh, that's going to be great.
GOP put out a 223-page report. I'm just going to read it. No. I'm kidding.
It's going to be an extra long episode today.
And there was also a minority reply. So that was also, I think, 99 pages. I can't remember, but they're pretty beefy.
Did you see that image of David Nunes and Adam Schiff sitting next to each other this week?
At the correspondence?
It was so sad. No, it was something in yeah, I don't know, the Capitol, but it was so sad seeing that.
Oh, just that they were hanging out?
Just how Schiff must feel all the time.
Right. Just gross. Oh. Anyway, let's kick it off with just the facts. All right, the week started off pretty slow, guys. On Sunday, a reminder article was published that Giuliani has ties to BTA Bank, which has ties to Felix Sater, Arif, and Cohen. We covered this in episode 12, but they put it out this week. So, Jaleesa, do you have that clip?
I do.
Let's move on to Monday. It was announced on Monday that the dictator of Kazakhstan, who is not Borat, I found out, he's going to be visiting the White House. Well, he already did, but this was, Monday.
Right.
He visited the White House last week. And here's the thing with Kazakhstan. We learned in the first round of Fusion GPS transcripts that Dai-Fi released, Dianne Feinstein, that the dictator's son, the dictator is the guy who's visiting the White House, his son took over BTA Bank in Kazakhstan after it was looted for billions of dollars by the previous chairman, who then set up shell companies through Felix Sater and purchased Trump properties, all of which were quickly resold for less money.
Huh.
It's funny, as we get deeper into this, stories keep popping up that we've covered in the past, and I'm getting the feeling that we report on a lot of stuff that other news outlets miss, or they're late to the party.
Yeah, they're distracted by other Trump stuff. Yeah,
I would share articles, but I feel like we've already covered them. So it's like I share them on Twitter, and I'm like, this will sound familiar if you listen to the pod.
Exactly, but it's a nice refresher too, and validating. Yeah,
it's very validating. It's good to know that we're on top of things at least. So. Thanks to our listeners for that. We couldn't do it without you.
Oh, yeah.
We learned early in the week that the U.S. eased sanctions on Deripaska's aluminum company. And that sent aluminum stocks into a tailspin. Mnuchin said that if Deripaska relinquishes control of the company, they'd ease up on sanctions and extend the deadlines for U.S. companies to comply by 5 months. People who listen to our pod already know Deripaska was planning to step down already, so whoopty shit. The Hill reported this week that Sean Hannity is linked to shell companies that spent $90 million on property. That's a red flag for money laundering, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And Hannity used HUD under the National Housing Act loan program, an Obama program, by the way.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah. And Hannity didn't mention his HUD cooperation when Ben Carson, the HUD secretary, was on his show.
That's his nickname.
Pizza
Ben
Hut.
the HUD Carson.
Tilla the HUD. Hannity's real estate lawyer, whose name is Christopher Reeve.
This country is safe against Superman, thanks to you.
No, sir. Don't thank me, Warden. We're all part of the same team.
Anyway, Christopher Reeve said Hannity's real estate holdings were highly confidential and not relevant for the public when the Hill asked for comment. So, funny. He just got like an $8 million loan from HUD.
No big deal.
Yeah.
No red flag at all there.
It's not as expensive as a dining room table, but
Yes.
I mean,
It's a little more expensive than mine.
My large basement geographical region is irrelevant. What's going on there? No one needs to know.
There was a new court filing Monday from Mueller opposing Manafort's motion to suppress evidence that the government obtained during the raid on his house in Alexandria. The filing goes into detail about what exactly the FBI could grab, because Manafort is saying in his Fourth Amendment rights were violated. enlisted him like, you can't take my bong. You weren't looking for bongs, man.
Right.
Remember when people would say that? Like, you have a bong on your table? If that they didn't come in for that, they can't bust you.
I have a water pipe.
They can bust you.
Yeah.
So, his Fourth Amendment rights were violated. He listed among the specifics in this warrant are, quote, communications, records, documents, and other files involving any of the attendees of the June 9th, 2016 meeting at Trump Tower, as well as Arasan Amin Agalarov. So, interesting. That means, we've been speculating forever that Mueller's looking into the June Trump Tower meeting. I think that's probably a given. But now there's documented evidence.
Oh, yeah.
On Wednesday, judges in the Federal District Court in Manhattan voted to appoint Jeffrey Berman as the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, days before his interim appointment was about to expire. Trump didn't set an alarm, I guess. So the court exercised this very seldom used power to fill the seat without him. So they put Berman in there. Berman is the Trump guy. He's also recused from Cohen, probably because he's
Part of Cohen's business.
He's probably tied to BTA Bank with Giuliani or some shit. Who knows?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's so annoying that Giuliani's name is back in politics now. I thought he was done with after he had that failed presidential campaign.
Yeah, I know.
Here he is again.
I hate him. His teeth freak me out. I shouldn't judge people based on their looks, but I shouldn't teeth shame to my listeners with dentures. Please don't email me. I have a partial. No, I don't. I'm just trying to relate. Never mind.
Yeah. I got a gum graft. Sorry.
Oh, did you? I'm gonna have to.
Yeah?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
My my front gums
Started receding?
Yeah.
Same. Mine did that too.
Oh,
So
good. You're not even old. I feel better.
Oh, no. Yeah, it happened when I was 19. They had to cut off a piece of the roof of
your
my mouth.
mouth.
And then, yeah.
Sew it onto the bottom.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad. It's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, then you're like a zombie mouth.
You think I could get some Oxy?
Yes.
Awesome.
You do get it.
I mean,
I can confirm that.
either that or I can just go ask Ronnie Jackson for some, right? He'll just give me some, right? Just, hey, bro.
Yeah.
Admiral.
Best of luck in your surgery, AG.
Thank you. I don't... If I could get
It's
him
a
to...
risky one.
If I could just get Ronnie Jackson to announce my health all the time, I would feel so much better about myself. Anyway, the stories started to come out about Ronnie Jackson this week. And I've said the nomination for the Secretary of Veterans Affairs is not really a Mueller story. But I'm a veteran, and I know we have a lot of veteran listeners, particularly part of the Veterans Resistance Squad, Veterans Resistance Groups that listen to MSW. So bear with me, Mueller junkies. Anyhow, there were missing Percocet. He wrote himself prescriptions.
What? Really?
Yeah. There were over 20 complaints from active duty and veterans. Assholes, right? Active duty service members and veterans that worked with
untrustworthy.
him. Totally. Apparently he
That's
got...
a joke, everyone.
Apparently he got drunk and crashed a car. Was drinking on duty. Then Trump said midweek in a press conference that he told Ronnie, quote, "I wouldn't do it if I were him. I wouldn't do it." So basically giving him an out, right? But then Ronnie said, "No way, man, I'm in 100%. But then Trump called him over to the White House that night and was like, "We should talk." And he withdrew his nomination the next day.
Yeah.
So
he's like, seriously, don't do it. And I was being serious.
Yeah. When I say don't do it, I mean, don't do
You
it.
got to see his face to know he's serious.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, or he could do it
Do
like
it.
like how he talked to Comey, like, "I'm hoping you can see your way clear to not do this."
You got to speak Trump, you know?
Yeah, totally. He made an amazing phone appearance Thursday morning on Fox and Friends, by the way. I'm sure you've seen the video, or maybe you watched the Daily Show clip. Oh my God, the Daily Show clip is the best.
I got to watch that. I haven't seen that one.
Trevor Noah kills me. And the way they cut it together, it was just so funny.
Yeah.
It only took 2 hours before Trump's own words were used against him in federal court.
It's got to be a record.
I don't know. He could probably beat it himself next week.
He could beat it himself. We'll just get that chopped up, I bet.
Trump said that Cohen only represented him in a teeny tiny fraction of his legal proceedings. And that led the prosecution in the Cohen case to be totally comfortable with a special master going through the documents. And the judge agreed. So Barbara Jones, a former U.S. attorney, was appointed, who's an appointee from Bill Clinton, and she was a prior assistant U.S. attorney in New York, was appointed as the special master in the Cohen case. So she's familiar with the court because she was assistant U.S. attorney in Southern District. And this will make the case move forward much faster. And I'd wager we'll get a Cohen indictment within 30 days.
Dude, that'd be so cool.
Let's do a countdown.
That's crazy. Are they allowed to a countdown or Cohen countdown? Or just all of them countdown? But is it so? Do you think they cited what he said in that interview in their explanation?
They did.
They put it directly in the court filing.
That's allowed.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
I mean, it's like a confession, right? Essentially, it's.
I guess so. I would just feel like you would have to be under some sort of oath when they were going to take it into consideration.
Interesting,
but
yeah.
I don't know. That's cool. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Blew up his entire case, his whole case. The reason he hired special attorneys, some husband and wife couple, the same day he brought Giuliani on, their whole case that they were meticulously and carefully building was to say that none of these documents seized could be used because of attorney-client privilege. And Trump gets up on Fox and says he wasn't really my attorney at all. And God love him.
Yeah, brilliantly stupid.
Yeah, so if we don't see an indictment by the end of June with Cohen, you can bet he's flipped.
Put some beans on it.
Not to mention, after saying he would plead the fifth earlier in the week in the Stormy Daniels case, the judge in that case put the entire thing on hold for 90 days in the likely event that Cohen will be indicted.
Wow.
so the judge in the Stormy Daniels case is like, because he pleaded the fifth, and then the judge is like, don't even worry about it, just put the case on hold. And I want to mention that it's pretty normal to plead the fifth. Well, it's not normal to be in a civil case and be under federal investigation
None of
at
this
the same
is
time.
really normal, but
Correct.
technically, yeah.
But if you are,
if you're already at that point,
if you happen to be, a potential deposition candidate in a civil case, you're being federally investigated, you usually plead the fifth because anything you say
will be used against
be used against you in federal court. So most people plead the fifth in that case. So everyone's, oh, you plead the fifth, you're guilty. He is guilty AF, but
right.
Like, that's why.
Yeah,
they're
like
usually guilty if they're in that position, right? I'm guessing.
Dude.
Is that wrong to say? I guess, yeah, there's the whole benefit of the doubt thing.
Yeah, benefit of the doubt?
Yeah.
It's called presumption of innocence.
There you go, yeah. Basically.
You're so cute.
It seems like it's the same.
Dude, I love you so hard.
Thank you.
You're like, oh, no, they're all guilty AF.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, go for it.
I was just going to say, pleading the fifth definitely is some purgatory between pleading guilty and not guilty. It's I'm not going to say, I'll let you do with that what you will, sir. And the judge is like, well, I've seen this before. I'm going to put this on hold.
This looks familiar.
Definitely.
Save us all some time.
Really? Because if he gets indicted in the other case, then he's not going to be able to participate in both trials simultaneously, I think. I don't know. Lawyers, let me know.
Yeah.
Tweet at me, at Mueller, she wrote.
Jordan Parker is the best for that stuff.
He is. And he's moving to Oklahoma.
Really?
I wanted him to come to our July 3rd thing, and he's moving to Oklahoma.
What for?
I don't know. Why would anyone move to Oklahoma?
My mom actually wants to move to Oklahoma City, and yes, tornadoes.
Yeah, they're funny to look at.
He's a storm chaser. That must be what it is. He's giving up law.
Real estate is apparently great right there right now. You can get a lot for a little.
Actually, I think great is like price-wise, right? But definitely not like property-wise.
Yeah, it depends if you're that person that sits on a rocking chair in your porch,
And
true, yeah.
And I can't even say I've never been to Oklahoma. I've been to Nebraska and Kansas and Missouri.
I don't like the flatness. I've been to Oklahoma, and it's just like Texas. Yeah, flat for days.
It is. It's humid in the summers, too. It's like really hot and humid, but it's beautiful. I think it's like American plains. Like,
yeah, it's
some people
America.
love it.
Yeah, it is pretty.
Trees and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Seasons. We don't know what that is.
No. It makes time go faster, I was thinking the other day.
You think?
Because it's just one constant state. It's just like, my frame of reference could be 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
I know. You're like, last winter? I don't know. Could have been the summer. It was 70 degrees out. It could have really been any day of the year.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Sorry.
The rest of you. Remember, Jesse Egan? He's like, a huge front is moving in. A front of jealousy from the rest of the country. Coming into San Diego.
That's funny.
Yeah, plan your vacation, man. Come out here for the 4th of July. We have an incredible Embarcadero fireworks show. You can take a cruise out on my favorite thing is to cruise out on the bay for the fireworks.
That sounds so fun.
The Star of India is down there.
We should do that. We should hang out on July 4th, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Like after the show. Oh, yeah,
the next day. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that'd be great.
Have some patriotic, like true patriotic
sexy justice
celebration.
Like,
Real patriots only.
I love it.
I do. I think that's a good idea. But yeah, July 3rd, it's Tuesday. It's our Mueller, She Wrote Live, and you can plan a whole vacation around it. It's plenty of time. Come to the zoo. We have a zoo here. I've heard the San Diego Zoo is very nice. No, I'm a member. I go there like every other day. Cool. And we got SeaWorld, no Shamu though. Blackfish, what's up? Big ups to Blackfish. But yeah, no Shamu show, but dolphins.
And fast grass.
And fast grass.
Oh, that's right.
Dallas McLaughlin worked at SeaWorld forever. He put some beans on that place.
Ooh. Wait, are those dolphins high? Is that why they're so like
chill with
impressive?
it?
Yeah, like well, I'm thinking about when they're like dancing backwards, like moonwalking across. You got to see the show, guys. You got to see the dolphin show. They're high on something.
You got to see the dolphins, the high dolphins moonwalk.
Yeah, no dolphins were harmed. I'm sure it's consensual.
Oh my god. The Coons Booker Tillis Graham bill advanced through the Senate, you guys. The Judiciary Committee only, though. And McConnell still says he'll kill it by not allowing it to be brought to the floor.
That's an unnecessary verb.
Yeah.
Why, you treasonous bitch bag, can we not vote on this damn bill? Like, why are you blocking it?
Because remember, Mitch McConnell knows why people are going to act the way they will act.
Oh.
And that's his reasoning for stopping legislation from getting seen.
He knows for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stupid. Anyway, more texts from Strzok and Page came out this week. And remember, we now know that Lisa Page is a witness in the Mueller investigation, which is weird. I can't figure out why she's a witness.
Is that Carter Page's wife?
No, Lisa Page is the one who was texting back and forth, Strzok and Page. Trump is a dildo, but also hate
FBI,
Hillary and fuck Bernie.
Yeah.
And the FBI.
So she's a
secret
the best thing that
society.
happened to Trump, basically.
Yeah.
Their
Okay.
texts.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder why she'd be a witness.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. Like I've been racking my brain, and I mean, maybe she knows something about the obstruction. I don't know.
Yeah, because they wouldn't. It's not as if they'd be interviewing her to investigate her. She's within this other investigation.
No, she's
so
just
it'd
a
have
witness.
To be, yeah,
She's pure witness. She's not even a subject.
Right.
Like Trump.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't figure it out. We'll have to. You know what? Tweet us your theory. I'd like to know.
Like what she has to bring to the table.
Yeah. How is she involved in the Russia investigation? Tweet us at Mueller.
And then Lisa Page tweets us.
Lisa Page is.
I plead the fifth.
She's like, "Here's the deal."
Long-time listener, a big fan.
Yeah.
I can't tell you why I'm part of the investigation.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just she's a witness, and I think the obstruction case, but I'm full on guessing. Anyway, these texts that were released are Strzok and Page's reaction to Comey's firing and Mueller's appointment. Strzok said of Comey being fired, quote, "Having a tough time processing tonight, Lise, feeling a profound sense of loss." And then Lise Page responded, quote, "I feel the same loss. I wanted to see what the FBI could become under him. His vision for greatness, for our strong but flawed organization. I'm angry and mourning."
Those damn humans.
That's a good text, man.
It is. It's really sad. Almost like they knew someone was watching.
It's a full-on
Or
text,
they always talk
right?
like that, yeah.
Some of the texts were cryptic and their shorthand wasn't really clear, such as, quote, "We need to open the case we've been waiting on now while Andy is acting."
Oh.
Like, what case?
Yeah, they must have been meeting up.
And
Yeah.
why open it when McCabe is acting? I'm thinking maybe it's the investigation into the leaks in the Southern District or in the New York field office.
Yeah.
When they leaked to Giuliani.
Right.
Who, by the way, said that they leaked.
The thing that prompted Comey to come out with it right before the election.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Comey's not saying, nobody's saying, and honestly, I think it's because it's an investigation. So you can't.
That is a bit of a flag, that language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that one thing we won't be able to do later, but we can do now.
Since McCabe's in charge.
Yeah.
Well, my husband's a very wonderful leader of the FBI, so you would want to open a case under McCabe.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
How is he, by the way?
Anything under
He's
McCabe,
adorable.
really.
That's how he is. He's just adorable. Another text that was kind of cryptic said, I could hear the shredders in the White House and DOJ running from here.
Whoa.
After Mueller was appointed.
I wonder if it's metaphoric or if it's literal.
So that's literal. I can hear the
I'm gonna go with literal.
Well, wow. I'm sure they couldn't literally hear the shredders, but
okay.
But
that's what I was wondering. How close is their building?
They're just massive industrial shredders.
Like, guys, I can hear it. I can hear the obstruction.
It's literal, but not literal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was Struck. Texted Page. I could hear the shredders in the White House and the DOJ running from here. What? The DOJ? What? Mm-hmm. What? Who at the DOJ?
Is that a song? Am I missing something? Is that
Sessions. It had to be Sessions.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were rapping for a minute.
What?
Yeah.
What?
WikiLeaks. Yeah, we gotta
Ricky Stray.
Mixtape.
Ricky Stray. Anyway, Friday was a pretty crazy news day. And it was a travel day for me. We learned that 16 phones were seized in the raid on Cohen, going back like 12 years.
All one person.
16?
Apparently, he keeps all his old phones.
Oh my God.
Like a smart guy.
Yeah.
I lose my current phones.
Exactly, yeah.
The FBI imaged them all.
Yeah.
So this is cool technology. They show up, they grab your phone, they plug something into it, make a copy, and then you hand it back to you.
Here you go.
That's
I
crazy.
imagine they're just hanging a straitjacket just up on a coat rack.
Dude, they should sell it to like
16
girlfriends
phones.
or something. Like, can you imagine this in the market for like crazy girlfriends that want to see everything? Like, or I guess crazy boyfriends. No, don't want to be
You mean like
sexist.
boyfriends of his clients?
No, just in general, like just a device where you could like put someone's your boyfriend's phone into it.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God, I'm gonna make this.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
The FBI has some. Go get one.
Yeah, I gotta.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, here you go. Here's that back. That's just, your life is over. Bye.
Wow.
Here's your phone back.
Right? Okay, thanks, bye.
Feel free to text anyone now, but we might come back and image those as well.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
12 or 16 phones.
Yeah, that's insane. How do you keep... Oh, wow, yeah.
And I bet if any of them traveled to Prague with him in, August, that data would be there too.
Mm-hmm.
Some more shit about Nader and Broidy dropped Friday. I'll let Jaleesa, our Broidy expert, tell you about that later.
I'm
in the
ashamed.
show.
No, he's got a lot of stuff coming out. Being a Brody expert, I don't want to be a part of his Brody bunch, but yeah, no, I'll break it down.
I'm sorry to have made you a Broidy expert.
Yeah, you're the Broidy whisperer.
There we go. Yeah. No, I dig it.
You'll go to jail soon. Sessions, our racist possum, defended his decision not to appoint a special counsel to investigate the FBI like the GOP wanted him to.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not doing it. There's not enough criminal shit for it to be justified. But then he also said that the Mueller investigation has, quote, taken on a life of its own. Well, okay.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I don't know if it's bad or good.
Exactly.
Like, it's just taken it like it's grown legs, I guess, and it's...
Yeah, these are observations. Yeah, seems pretty neutral.
It's a big damn investigation, So...
People keep saying they think it's close to over, and I wonder if it's far from over. I keep wondering, if...
I don't know, man.
Yeah, things keep getting added to it.
But, we have 80, maybe 90 people on our fantasy indictment team.
Yeah, and that's just us, man.
And that's... I would be willing to say we only know about 10 to 15% of the people that are involved in this case.
If
Not to say that
that.
there's going to be, 500 indictments, but
just more information about the same
witnesses.
people, perhaps. Yeah, that too.
You know, and I don't know if it's going to all come out or not. Are we going to have to wait 40 years for them to be unclassified? I'm not going to be alive. We got to know soon.
You can probably upload your brain into the
I was going to say,
cloud.
there's blood transfusions.
Upload.
Yeah. I almost got morbid, but I was like, wait, no, you could totally take our blood.
Maybe get the FBI to image it,
Yeah, definitely.
We'll just all be at a dialysis center.
Yeah,
just feeding
I'll
out
regenerate your brain, AG.
blood.
It's a good brain. We got to keep it.
My blood type is B positive.
Yeah. Keep her alive.
She's got to see the papers. You guys are weird. I love it. Because I'm totally normal. Jill Stein turned over documents to the special counsel related to Russia, but refused to fully comply. And her reason is ridiculous. Jaleesa, you got to tell me. You got to say what the reason is.
Yeah. So essentially, and I had the quote up, but I'm going to paraphrase because it's that crazy. She basically said that it's impossible for her to recall every single Russian she may have had contacts with because of like the millions of Russian heritage people she may have talked to in her lifetime. So it's just an impossible request. I'm so sorry. It could be anybody.
I'm just so guilty.
Yeah,
it's overwhelming.
She was saying like it's prejudice against people of Russian descent that are living in the United something.
Yeah, she literally said there could be millions. And you know what? She's probably right about that number. There could have been millions of trolls involved with this, but I doubt she would know all of them. I mean, she's literally in a photo with Putin and Flynn.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I mean, she's knee deep in some shit.
I just love the I couldn't possibly even know who all is Russian or not, or how much what percentage of Russian do they have to be, like, oh my God. Seriously?
I think she's buying herself some time, right? Like, it just sounds like she must know that's a ridiculous.
I can literally hear the shredders from here.
And offensive to Russians living in America? What does that even mean?
I don't know. It's
a Hail
offensive.
Mary, yeah.
It's offensive to Russians to target them in this investigation.
She's like, how could you possibly ask me about Russians I know? That's just like a weird thing to say. Like, a lot of people are Russian. What are you, racist? It just seems like she's trying to be...
You should tweet at her like, hey, I want all your emails to Irish people.
Yeah, there we go.
Also, how much do you weigh?
How many blacks do you know? Yeah.
So weird.
Just ask her the unaskable question.
Yeah, I don't trust her.
How old are you?
Yeah.
Also on Friday, the NRA started setting aside years of documents linked to Kremlin banker torsion. We've done multiple stories on the NRA. Jaleesa, you've covered this. Jordan, you've covered this. We did a mini-sode on it. And it looks like they're preparing for a possible subpoena. They're gathering all their shit.
All right, everyone, gird your loins.
So this all harkens back to the email sent to Dearborn with the subject line Kremlin connection or Kremlin back channel or whatever the fuck it said that we've referred to on multiple occasions. So keep your eye on that. I'm sure, Jordan, you'll have an update
in due time.
Yeah, as you're our Dearborn and Mashburn NRA Russia expert.
Yep.
Now that Jaleesa's got Brody.
Yeah, you got Brody. Yeah. We got the NRA. I got the NRA. There's
I dig it. Yeah.
There's so much.
There is.
We could probably each have 5 recurring segments.
Yeah,
on
we're
the
like
show
correspondents.
easily.
We're our own Daily Show. Yeah, so that makes you Trevor Noah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
I don't
to be suddenly black. Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't want to say that. I was like, that's just not.
I feel like as a woman, I'm not being paid the same.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
Even in this parallel universe, I'm still oppressed. What is it?
Even in this completely made up thing, I can't even get away from it. There's a glass ceiling in my imagination.
That's deep.
Some guy at the leadership conference was complaining about how he didn't get promoted because he's a man or something, and I'm like, well, you couldn't break through the glass floor.
Yeah, like what?
Go each suck an egg. After a few hearings and asking Manafort to write a brief, the judge, in his case, dismissed his civil case against Mueller. It's over. Now, if I can remind you what this is, he filed 2 counts. One said that Mueller should have never been appointed in the first place, and the second one said that Mueller was going outside of his scope. It taken on a life of its own, I guess.
Like a tumor.
And in response, the Mueller team gave the 4-page Rosenstein memo, mostly redacted, that basically outlined what he was allowed to investigate in Manafort. And so the judge dismissed that one, but said, write me a brief on your first count that Mueller should have never been appointed in the first place, and give it to me by April 11th, and I'll consider it. Well, she got it, she considered it, and she's like, no.
Right.
No, dude. So that was pretty much his last hope. So Manafort is...
Fucked.
Thank you. Oh, nice with the...
That's a little bit
perfect.
That's really good.
Thank you. We're getting really good.
Yes.
Take the show on the road.
If you have one word you want saying like that, anyone, hit us up. We'll do it.
Yeah, any name. Yeah, like Bill at your office. We'll do Bill is fun. Yeah, we'll do it.
We need one fuck up allowed at the beginning, though, too. Just know.
Yeah, we always do.
We're not going to get it right the first time.
No.
That's perfect.
All right, you guys, that's this week's news. We'll be right back. Hello, thanks for listening to Mueller, She Wrote. I'm talking to you because I could really use your help. There's a lot of costs associated with creating a podcast. There's editing, sound equipment, writing and research, hosting, shipping costs and merchandise, branding, web design, consulting, IT, and I'm not too proud to ask you guys for your support. Our patrons are the single source of revenue to cover these costs, and to be totally transparent, we're still in the red, and that's where you come in. By becoming a patron, you not only support our efforts, but you support women in podcasting and women in media. And the best part is that it's not a one-way street. In return for your pledge, you get access to our bonus content and ad-free episodes. You'll receive our weekly newsletter and our MSW Book Club membership. You'll also get all sorts of great rewards like t-shirts and stickers, reusable tote bags made from 100% recycled materials, and even our limited edition polonium tea from Russia with Love, created just for us by our friends at joysteaspoon.com. So please help us out and head over to MuellerSheWrote.com and subscribe today. You'll be glad you did. Hey, welcome back. Unless you're a patron, in which case you just heard "We'll be right back," immediately followed by "Welcome back." Remember, patrons, our ads are always available in the full episode. If you miss them, you can head over to iTunes and check them out.
Yeah, some of them like them.
I like my ads.
I like them too.
Then they get the Fast Grass deal too.
Oh yeah, promo stuff.
They don't get the
all the
Fast Grass
cool,
deal.
discounts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Discounts.
Yeah. We make ads good. I think we make them better. Yeah.
You do. You get all sorts of cool. Anyway, and you know what you should do though? At least is head over right now to iTunes and rate us. Everybody, just right now, hit pause and go give us a rating. It would mean everything to us. So, like, that's how we
get on the charts.
Yeah,
iTunes.
Yeah, exactly. So do that. Yay! We would love you forever. So this week's hot notes, Jaleesa, you have an update on Brody and Nader.
I do, yes. We have another Elliot Brody story. So this one broke on Wednesday. The Associated Press reported that George Nader, the guy who wired $2.5 million to Brody, was also secretly pushing his pro-UAE agenda through Congress. So this story basically highlights another instance of top Trump campaign officials coordinating with foreign political advisors to directly influence foreign policy during the 2016 U.S. presidential election. And in this report, we learned that the money Nader sent to Brody was wired just weeks before he sent even more money to several U.S. lawmakers who had some say in legislation regarding Qatar, which we know is UAE's rival in the Gulf. So according to this article, the $2.5 million was wired through Canada, and it was given to Brody with the sole purpose of persuading U.S. lawmakers to turn on one of the U.S.'s longtime allies, Qatar, or allies. So a month after this money was distributed, Brody organized a conference on Qatar's alleged, quote, ties to Islamic extremism. Yeah, and at this conference, Republican Congressman from California, Ed Royce, announced that he would introduce legislation that would brand Qatar as a terrorist-supporting state.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They were serious about this. I mean, they got paid for it, so they delivered. And in July of 2017, Brody gave Royce $5,400 in campaign gifts, which we know is the max amount you can give by law. And then by November, Royce's bill naming Qatar as a state sponsoring terrorism was approved by the House Foreign Affairs Committee and is currently waiting review by the House Finance Services Committee.
Wow. So
They're making
institutionalized Islamophobia.
For sure, yes.
Legislative level.
With progress. I mean, they were literally making headway here.
If that travel ban goes through, I think Brody should be on it.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, that'd be
You
so
know what's
good.
funny? Anyone that thinks that Obama was pro the Muslim ban, but they also think he's Muslim. That always blew my mind. They're like, yeah, well, Trump's just doing what Obama said we should do, and I'm like, but you thought Obama was a Muslim. He wouldn't be able to come back in the States. Sorry, that's
you don't get to have your cake.
your
and
Muslim
eat it too.
cake. Yeah,
I know.
your
I was gonna
racist
think of
cake.
something too, and I was like, I'm gonna say some
I think
like
racist
challah,
cake is
which
cuter.
is
We're thinking
totally
the same.
Jewish.
yeah, it is. I'm half Jewish. I know. I forgot.
I forgot.
Now I'm trying to think what would be on a
Hummus.
racist cake. Like what kind of
Baba ganoush.
description?
I honestly don't know. I'm so sorry if I'm being extremely
no,
offensive.
don't.
Holy shit.
Yes, please
We
hold
love
your
you,
emails.
Jordan.
Yeah.
So basically, the donation that Royce got was just one of many donations Brody had given to GOP lawmakers in 2016. In fact, in just 2 months, Brody donated almost $600,000 to GOP members and Republican political committees, and all of these donations came right after his anti-Qatar conference. By the way, that's more money than he's given in donations in the last 14 years combined. So he clearly had a hard-on for this particular election. And in 2016, Brody's company, Cisternus, Circinus. We talked about this a couple episodes ago. They also
Circusness.
Yes. They also received $200 million in contracts from the UAE, even though there's no record of having done official business together. So people are wondering, obviously Mueller, why they get their money. And not to mention, in October, Brody, quote, raised the issue of Qatar at the White House in meetings with Trump and senior aides. In fact, on June 6th, Trump tweeted that Qatar was funding extremism. So Trump went along with this at some point, whether he claims he knew what they were doing or not. It's just the whole plan was working from, the bottom to the top. And just a reminder, there are strict laws on foreign donations for political activities, such as agents of foreign governments are required to register before lobbying so that there is a public record of foreign influence, something Brody and Nader both failed to do. And as we've covered before, Nader was at the Trump Tower meeting in December 2016. A month later, he met with Eric Prince and the top Kremlin official Kirill Dmitriev.
Well, make sure to note that Nader wasn't at the Trump Tower meeting in June.
Oh, yeah,
It was a Trump Tower meeting in December.
Got it. He was at a Trump Tower meeting in December, right? There were two different ones that Mueller's looking at. And so this was just another connection with Nader and the top Trump officials, but at a different time. And then when he got back, of course, we know that Mueller stopped him at the airport, and now he's a witness. So... side note, Royce, that congressman from California, he's not running for re-election. He said he'd rather focus on his committee this year instead of campaigning.
Rather focus on anything else.
What a noble man.
Right, yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, I guess he is doing us a service. It's just... God, fuck them. So anyways, in conclusion, with all of this Trump-Russia craziness going on, this potential backstory to anti-Qatar legislative campaigns is just another dot in the continuous web of efforts by foreign governments or their proxies to influence American politics without official registration or documentation. In other words, they're shady motherfuckers. But that's that.
Just sum up.
Yeah, more on Brody and Nader. Just, the Brody bunch.
And then just a reminder, Lisa, can you tell us all who Brody was again and how fucked up?
Absolutely. So Brody was Trump's top fundraiser. He essentially was the guy that was raising the most money during the campaign, and he got all this money from this guy who's now a witness because he did so much terrible stuff that Mueller's like, we need you. And I mean, it's now we know exactly what he was doing. So there's the $200 million.
Chair of the RNC.
Top guy.
So top. Yeah, it's crazy.
As far as money goes, if you're laundering, he's the one that approves, for sure. So yeah, he gives the stamp there.
Laundering approved.
Yeah,
big stamp.
But that's
crazy.
The latest. Yeah, good point, Jordan. Yeah, he was the guy.
Oh yeah, no, you've just been doing such a good job covering him, and it's like you
just
do it week to week to week. Yeah, so it's all. I don't want people to forget
how important
that guy is and everything.
Huge. Both of them. George Nader was a political advisor for the UAE, so they're both top guys in these organizations.
Nader has partial immunity. And he's cooperating.
Which is huge.
Yeah, no one else does that we know of. It could be, who knows? I mean...
Yeah, this is crazy. But that's what we've learned. Of course, Mueller's probably known this forever, so...
I know, right?
Yeah, getting a little sample platter.
He listens to us, he's like, you guys.
Yeah, he just giggles.
That's adorable.
Yes.
All right, thanks so much for that. You are our bona fide Brody expert now.
Thank you.
You could probably write a whole article and submit it to Vice or Medium or something.
Ooh. I like that. We should all do that. We should just do a little freelance for Mueller she wrote on the side.
You could.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, HG.
Yeah, do it. All right, Jordan, you have a story for us about the Trump Fox News meltdown. I'm so excited about this. This was epic.
It was so epic. It was epic and also terrifying. I watched the segment multiple times, and I probably could have just done with one. And it was so for those of you that did not see, Trump appeared on Fox and Friends this week to a group of 3 interviewers that were very excited to have him, and then immediately their faces just went from just a stagnant smile for 7 minutes straight to just nothing, just straight face.
Somebody said it looks like somebody took the batteries out of that guy. Because at first he's all, hey, and then he's all,
That is so true. Yeah, they're wrestling papers, trying to just find a way to look busy, sort of, as Trump is going on this complete rant about everything. And
he's on the phone, right?
Yep, it's a phone interview. It's 3 people sitting there on their little couch. It looks like Good Morning America. And so, okay, first off, Trump opens up just comes out swinging with his idiocracy.
The birthday?
Yes. He talks about, he's like, this is Melania's birthday, so happy birthday, Melania. I decided I have to do it on your birthday. And then
my favorite quote is from Trevor Noah because the first question asked in the interview is by that one guy on Fox and Friends, and he asks, "What'd you get her for her birthday?" And Trevor Noah says it's like someone threw him a softball and he swung and hit himself in the dick.
It was so good. Yeah, Trevor Noah's segment on it is amazing. Stephen Colbert has a really good opening monologue that talks about it. It is.
I had to watch both. Yeah.
It was so hilarious how much this guy sucks. He talks about they ask him what he's gonna get, and then he's like, "Oh, I got her a very nice card." That's all.
I'll be in trouble. I didn't get her. I got her card.
Yeah.
One of the richest men supposedly in the world.
It's crazy. And then he's like, "She did a great job with France. Great job with France. They loved her." And then I saw a quote from someone that was French being like, "She was fucking useless and literally did nothing." Said nothing helpful.
How do you get your porn star mistress $160,000 and get your wife a card? At least $161,000.
That is so true. Ooh. That is so true.
It's just so offensive.
Yeah. She's like, "Do I have to be a mistress for you?"
At least give her 160 grand. Bro.
Yeah. And a card.
Yeah. 131.
How many golden toilets does one woman need, really?
Right? And what did that card say? Like, "I am so sorry."
Yeah.
Like, what could he? I don't know. That's just sad.
Yeah, I can't imagine him writing for some reason.
Crayons for sure. That's what comes to mind.
Just the oversized flower, like happy birthday.
Maybe he cut her a check, like an apology check.
Yeah. Ugh. Anyway, okay. So immediately, basically, Trump is off the rails. They try to ask him questions and keep him somewhat on topic, and it's just literally impossible for him. So if you have 30 minutes to spend being very frustrated, I really say you should go and watch it. It's great to just see the evolution of the anchors, honestly. So he goes in.
I really recommend watching the Trevor Noah rendition.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it's so good.
For sure. So they start off the interview. He starts talking about how he's so much tougher than Obama was on Iran, and how under Obama they were literally bringing barrels of money into Iran to fund them. He like pirate ship barrels or something, just filled with cash.
Here's the thing. Obama, we owed $15 billion to Iran, and Obama paid it.
Right.
That's what happened.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, so of course Trump has to go with this imagery like we're fucking just on pirate ships or something, just doing sketchy deals with like Iran. Whatever. That's a whole other conversation. But anyway, so he segues with zero segue. When the anchor finally gets a question and he says, "All right, what about Ronnie Jackson? Let's talk about him." So Trump's response to the Ronnie Jackson question, as we all know, he's the candidate for the head of the VA that just got shut. He withdrew himself because he's getting decimated by media. Trump comments on this, saying that Democrats are obstructionists, and he goes on a rant about how ridiculous it is that it takes so long for people to get interviewed and confirmed by the House and Senate, and that it's criminal because these are quote unquote the best people in our country.
Oh my god!
That are going up for these positions.
He really believes that.
That is what I was gonna say about this. This whole thing is just indicative that he gets into this character and he pathologically lies, and he's able to deliver it and assume the character of a person where all those things were true.
Method acting. Like,
yes,
he totally
it's
believes
honestly
it.
method acting. It's crazy. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
The anchors literally cannot get a word in. He's going on rants. They're trying to just say something, and then
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. These poor people are stuck. It's as if they're watching a runaway train, but if they went and tried to stop the train, they would lose their jobs and their pensions. It is. It's crazy. It's just a nightmare for them, I would imagine. He asks, one of the anchors asks, well, you say, that how long it takes to get interviewed and confirmed is an issue. Why don't the GOP leadership just sit there and wait it out and exhaust the questioning on the nominees? And then Trump, of course, tries to say, yeah, that's what I'm telling them to do. I'm telling them to do that. So hopefully that's what they're going to start doing. He gets asked that if the obstructionists win when his nominees don't fight back, what is he have to, what is he going to do about that? And mainly talking about, Jackson stepping down after he was giving out painkillers like Altoids in the White House. And he says, Well, I could say yes, they're losing, but I could also say no, which is a brilliant response. That's
Is that what he said?
Yeah, Trump said.
Oh,
well, I could say yes, they win, but I could also say no, they don't. It's very
he graded his
deep.
own response.
Yeah. So
I just imagine him in his head like, "You're doing fine, Trump." Just like keep talking.
Yeah,
You're doing great.
Yeah.
he keeps reporting all of his catchphrases. He says, "Welcome to the swamp," a bunch.
Oh, that's
in
classic.
it.
Yeah, all the hits.
After that, he goes on like another 5-minute rant on how great of a man Jackson is and how sad it is that he's being targeted like this. All in
Just
all,
have an affair with him already. Like, just go for it.
Yeah. They ask him if he knows who he's going to put up for a VA, Secretary of VA. He says he has an idea, somebody with political capability.
Someone unlike himself.
The lowest qualifications, meaning they have a mouth and a brain.
So
basically.
someone political. Great.
Yeah.
Just what we needed to politicize the VA and veterans. Thanks, buddy.
You're in the right place. Washington, great.
Yep. The anchors then ask him about Comey. This is when it starts getting more relevant to what we cover here at Mueller, She Wrote. Ask him about Comey. Of course, he comes right out of the gates flying, saying that Comey is a leaker and a liar. The most predictable response from Trump we could have expected. Talks about how Comey's leaked his classified documents, which we are, obviously now aware of. Actually, were not classified. And Trump just watches Fox News. He admits in this interview that he does not watch CNN. He does not watch MSNBC. He does not watch NBC. He gives the reason for why he doesn't listen to NBC, and he says that he was so good to NBC with Celebrity Apprentice and made them so much money, and now they're so mean to him, and he would expect that if he made NBC so much money, they would be a little bit nicer to him.
At least he's
right, because
honest.
free press.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So proof that this is how Trump's brain works.
Literally, yeah.
All squid pro crow.
It's broken.
Is all it is. They go on and talk about Hillary, of course. He goes on this like crazy ADD rant just talking about, he's not even talking about this subject. They're talking about another one. And then he says CNN and then brings himself on his own tangent, just saying how CNN is the most like how they gave Hillary the questions to the presidential campaign debate before the debate, and how CNN is like the worst thing ever. And he's like seriously, can you imagine how crazy that is? If you guys did that, Fox, you'd be out of business. Like, okay, yes, I'm sure that's exactly how it would go. Yeah. They try to rein him in. He just cannot be reined in. He keeps raising his voice, talking over them.
He sounded like he was on coke.
Yes.
It's that dragon energy Kanye was talking about.
That dragon energy.
Yeah.
Kanye.
Yeah, they talk about Kanye in the interview. They're stupid enough to ask him about the specific interaction with Kanye. He starts...
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just wondering if his favorite Kanye song is like Niggas in Paris or something. Like, I just wonder like if he's...
Just because it says the end.
Yeah, like how down is he with the cause?
Exactly. He's talking about how black people voted for him, but not as much as they should have, and how black unemployment is the lowest in this country it's ever been. And he says, quote unquote, Hispanic unemployment is the lowest in this country it's ever been. And then
because they're all afraid to go to work. You're gonna deport their asses.
Oh my god, that's so true.
Yeah. And he says, did I say employment or unemployment?
Unemployment.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was like, I just want to make sure I said that.
Yeah, no, my thing is backwards.
Oh, got
What
it.
I said is backwards.
Okay, got it. Okay. I was like, oh shit, did I fuck that up? I want to make sure he's
No, it
being
was me.
accurately represented.
Yeah, you want to accurately report Trump's rant.
Yes, a complete rant. They talk
He was
about
yelling. He was like
yelling, raising his voice. Rude. So rude.
And I have daddy issues, so I was just like angry just hearing it. I was just like, I can't take this right now. This is PTSD for me.
Yeah.
She's just screaming.
Yeah, screaming, talking over them, not letting them get a word in. They talk about Michael Cohen. He says that the raids have nothing to do with Trump. Only Michael Cohen's his business. And then, like AG said earlier on, he says that Cohen only handled a tiny, tiny percentage of Trump's affairs. We all know this is going to come out as like a huge
is like
understatement.
a poor choice of word for him. Like,
just shoved
how
his
many more
foot right
affairs?
up the ass of his own case lawyers. It's just so I saw that and my jaw dropped. Like, that was your only defense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you just blew it.
Yep.
He's unhinged, man. You've been saying it for weeks.
It is.
I'm waiting for him to drop an N-bomb. I'm waiting for him to...
Yeah, but would it even matter?
I'm
maybe
waiting for
Kanye
him to
would
call it
praise
the
him.
Muslim ban. I'm
Yeah.
just waiting.
Yeah. He said that his appeal to Black American voters was, he says, this is a quote, he says, I mean, vote for me. What do you have to lose? That is the most fucked up, offensive argument
to Mexican rapist comment. It's just like, yeah, well, some of you guys, like, I'm sure, you know, it's just like, obviously you don't think highly of us generally, you know, you're like, what do you have to lose? Your community has nothing. I mean, okay, but let's talk about why.
What an inspiring campaign slogan.
Yeah, we took away everything.
What do you got to lose?
Yeah, so what do you have to lose?
Vote for me. Why not?
Crazy. I don't think Trump understands the history of American slavery. I think he really doesn't know why he hates black people. Like, I think he's very confused, and he thinks he doesn't hate black people. I think
a lot of we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
Racists don't realize they're racist.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Camus Bell Shades of America? I think
No, I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
He went to a KKK rally, and he was asking questions of the folks that were there after the rally, and he's like, so what is it about black people you don't like? And the lady was like, they're mongrels, they're animals, they don't deserve to be alive. And he goes, is it tough, like, being a racist in society today? And she says, I'm not a racist.
Oh my God.
Like, if that isn't, like, what is a racist to you? What do you think a racist is?
We have to name it. We have to agree.
If calling African Americans mongrels and animals and less than human is not racist, what is?
Exactly. And if you don't name it in legislation like that, that's how people get away with it. When you have that gray area, that's how a lot of things slip through the cracks. And yeah, I know politics is tricky, but I feel like that's one of the ways that it's still, like, implemented on a political level, is because we don't name it for what it is. Like, hate crimes, it's like, oh, there's two sides to this, you know, and they're
good
both
people on both sides.
Yeah, they're fine people, I'm sure. It's not treated like a real crime, like black and white crime.
Yep.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. No pun intended.
Yeah, it's so incredibly offensive to the groups that he was talking about.
Oh yeah,
and
but
as
he doesn't
always,
seem to get it. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. They're from shithole countries anyway.
Right. Yeah.
That was me quoting Trump.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. I saw a sign at a business that said, all immigrants are welcome to this shithole. Like it was a pizza joint or something.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
That's nice. Yeah. And then the last scariest thing that I think he says is in regards to the Justice Department, because one of the anchors is like, this is your Justice Department, you're the one that's supposed to be taking control over this. Jesus. And he says, you know, our Justice Department, I try to stay out of, but at some point I won't.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
It's terrifying.
Oh. It's like if Hitler had like and I know people like get really sensitive when we compare Trump to Hitler, but what are we going to wait until he's killing people when we're like, oh, he is like Hitler? It's like there were things that led up to him killing people. Like Trump may never get there, but like there's damaging things in between.
You can see the steps. Like I was watching Handmaid's Tale.
Great.
Are you caught up?
No, not caught up, but it's okay.
There was just this isn't really a spoiler alert. It's just one little aspect of the show, because you know how they treat women in that in that time, and they would go back in time, and they started dropping little hints about how it got there.
Exactly.
And one of them was she was going to go get her birth control refilled, was one of her errands, and she had to have her husband sign.
Whoa.
That was part of the rules. Like he had to sign her paper for her to go get birth control. So just those little
things
changes
like,
lead to that.
Fascism, that book by what's her name, Madeleine, is that Albright?
Madeline Albright.
Yeah, we should probably put that on the book club
There's
list.
a book called How to Be a Dictator that my friend gave me as well, and it just outlines all these things.
We'll have a lot. Yeah, that's a good one.
You undermine the media.
Trump bought it non-ironically.
Extremes. Yeah.
Oh, this is a great guidebook.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
That rant was immense.
It was funny for a second, and then it just got really scary, just like you were talking about, because it's like the fury that he's speaking with and the unmitigated rage and ego. It's so scary. And my boyfriend Ryan, he brought this up. He was like, can you imagine if Obama got on to an interview and started talking like that? It would be like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is happening?
And that's why we don't look at like and this is not like I think a malicious thing either, but America does not look at a white rich man the same way you look at a black rich man. It's almost like that's how we should know racism is alive and well, just the comparison of the presidents of the last 2 terms. It's just duh.
Yeah, Obama can't like slip up, not even that he would.
Yeah, there's
the
a glass
classiest
ceiling
guy ever, but
yeah. And the glass ceiling is a racial.
He wore a tan suit.
That's true.
It was too much brown for the racists.
suits.
Yeah, brown on brown does not sit right with him.
He did wear a tan suit. So.
Yeah.
I thought that was classy as fuck.
Right?
And very ahead of his time.
What's wrong with tanning? Don't white people love tan? Like, isn't that like their favorite thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's
Some
racist.
of us turn
No,
orange.
it's not racist.
It's
Oh my
not.
god. I don't think you can ever call me racist. No.
I can't even define it. I'm
Or
like, I don't know.
Be racist.
Exactly. It's so weird. I don't know what's racist for a black person, and I don't know if it's different from it has to be. We might write a book
I think
about
that
what
we need to
racism
change
is.
the definition of racism.
Yeah. There you go.
Because right now it just says discriminate against someone for the color of their skin. And I don't think that you can be a victim of racism if you aren't an oppressed group.
Exactly.
I think they need to add that.
Yeah.
Like you know, white people are all like, there's reverse racism. If you don't like me because I'm white, that's racism.
Why are you calling it reverse? Why do you have to reverse it? Where's it coming
I like
from?
the right original way towards black people.
Let's
Any
reverse
other
the
way
reverse.
is reverse.
Good
Make
old
America
fashioned.
great again. Yeah.
Good old fashioned racism.
Right? It's so crazy. I was listening to earlier Kanye records today, and he talks about racism, and then he's wearing the Make America Great. I'm just like, what's going on?
Dude.
There's good rappers on both sides.
You're right. There's fine
He's
rappers.
a whore. Kanye West is a goddamn whore.
It's pretty bad now.
I think he's just trying to sell records. He's dropping an album soon.
I mean, that's a terrible way. I do not respect that method. That's crazy. Very, very crazy.
And he's so smart. He is smart. He's
Right.
obviously like a manic genius,
Yeah.
but it's so disappointing. I do think that he's a manic person that has poignant and deep thoughts.
I don't think
Trump is the same way, I think. I know. No, I swear. I
take
think
it back if you're gonna
This
say
is why
that.
they like each other. I love Kanye's music because that's like where he shows his best genius. But if you look at the comparison to their marketing strategies, that genius is usually used in like really negative ways, like the way that Kanye interrupts people and disrespects people. And Obama had to call him a jackass. And so Kanye wanted to work with Obama about Chicago stuff. And
I know
Obama,
artist subjective, but I just don't see it.
Oh, the music. Well, if you like
Just
Kendrick,
his
you'll
lyrics.
like
His older lyrics are very.
A lot of people thought the Doors were genius too, and I think that that's silly. So
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's
it might
fair.
just be me.
Yeah. It is subjective, but I think
they're
Kanye-
artsy and they're very like.
Right.
Mojo Rising, you mixed up the letters of your name. You're the Lizard King. I don't care. I like what Dennis Leary said. He's like, I'm drunk, I'm famous. I'm drunk, I'm nobody. I'm drunk, I'm famous. I'm drunk, I'm fucking dead. That's Jim Morrison.
Words to live by. Yeah, or die by.
big fat dead guy in a bathtub. There's your title.
Yeah.
That's not me. That's Dennis
them.
Leary.
Yeah.
Yeah, before any listener, I feel like we need to say I'm not supporting Kanye.
I support Kanye's music, and I'm having a hard time supporting the man anymore. They seem very different, and some people just don't listen to people they don't like. I don't listen to Chris Brown because he's a woman beater. Yeah, so with Kanye, I don't know. This is a tough one for me. Yeah, I love his music.
I feel like even if he's being a troll, it's not okay.
It's just his power as an artist for like black people that are poor and came from like a state of mind that he came from, because he was middle class, but still, it's a struggle in its own right. And he just totally is turning his back on everything he wrote about in his music. Like his whole catalog is just like the corruption and racism in America and like poverty. And now he's just like, I have $160 million, so let's make America great again. I think that's awful.
Yeah, Kanye is my Morrissey. Morrissey's an asshole.
Yeah.
And
talented,
I was
but asshole.
super bummed about that.
Yeah.
Because I grew up on the Smiths.
And you let it go. You never went back. You never forgave him. I feel like Kanye might actually go to a point of no return for me. And he's the person I would defend like forever. And now I can't.
If he was rapping about all the stuff that you're talking about,
He really
I don't
was.
know that I'd be able to take it seriously.
Yeah.
I think maybe he was just selling records.
I think the whole time. Yeah, I think he's been lying to himself the whole time.
But I don't know. I don't listen to him enough to be a judge of it.
There are a lot of people that started off with him that rapped about the same things and sang about, like John Legend. He came up with Kanye. And
Love John Legend.
Yeah, he was tweeting Kanye or messaging him, and Kanye tweeted the text messages, and John Legend was like, please don't do this. Your fans, like, they trust you. They believe everything you say. Don't use this for marketing. And Kanye was like, dude, I respect your thoughts, but like, don't disrespect my free thinking. And Kanye's he's in his own head. He can't be tamed.
And here's something that's important to note. You're free to have your opinion. I do not have to respect it.
Exactly.
That's the end.
You can't force someone to respect
You do
it.
not have the right to not be offended by me.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I agree.
He was also really careful to not say that he was in favor of any of his policies per se, just simply his existence as a person.
Even then, it's like, are you even paying attention to who he is?
We all think that. Like,
right.
That's like Dave Chappelle saying, give Trump a chance. We gave him a chance, and now we know who he is, and you can't tell me that you're still like, this guy's my brother. It's like, what kind of brother do you want? Like, if I have relatives that are like sexual predators, I'm not going to be like, but that's my uncle, though. We got that dragon energy. So basically, I just think Kanye, it's like, he's at a point where I just can't support him anymore.
Point of no return.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Sucks.
It does suck. You're in such a, whatever. I'm white, so I can't like have a, I don't understand. I don't.
Okay.
But from my perspective, it's like you were such a brilliant lyricist and like producer, and then now why would you fucking align yourself with this guy?
Yeah. And I can say it's my Morrissey, but Morrissey's white as fuck, so it's not the same,
Right. Similar enough.
Right. I do try to understand, but it's, like you said, Jordan, we can't know.
Yeah.
We just can't. All right, so I'm going to talk to you today about the House Permanent Select Committee of Intelligence, on Intelligence. That's questionable. And their final report released on Friday, which is the Republican conclusion that despite telling us about a group of meetings and secret meetings and covering it up with the Russians and their failure to report, they find there's no collusion between Trump and Russia. They're like, it's 223 pages of all the meetings that everyone in the Trump campaign had with Russia and all of the times they covered it up. And they're like, but no collusion.
That's crazy.
Further evidence that this is a sham investigation, and not the Mueller probe, the House Intelligence Committee investigation. And the Senate's still going strong, so much faith in them. Hopefully they'll produce. And I can't wait until we flip the Congress and they reopen this case in the House.
I didn't even think about that.
In the House Intelligence Committee and reopen the investigation. We're going to be around for a while. I was like, we'll just do this cool, quick 6-month podcast and it'll be good. 26 weeks and we haven't even started the Manafort trials.
Buckle up.
So, dang. It's going to be good. And like I said, Congress doesn't even get back in session until January, so we got to go at least that long.
Wait, you mean since when? Since like from the November elections, or
right?
now?
For when we elect everyone in November, they don't start working until January.
Cool, got it.
It's still the old shitty Congress for the holidays.
Right. Shitty holidays to look forward to.
Shitty Congress for the holidays. It's a good thing the Republicans' color is red so that you won't be able to see the blood in November. It's going to be very messy and glorious, like the fight scene between Beatrix Kiddo and the Crazy 88s at the end of Kill Bill Volume 2. I think it'll be akin to that.
Oh yeah.
Anyhow, I digress. The HPSCI, we've been calling it the HIC, House Intelligence Committee, Republicans released a 253-page final report on their findings in the Russia investigation. They took 253 pages to say they found nothing, basically concluding the Trump campaign did not collude with Russia in the 2016 election. This report was probably supposed to exonerate the president, but this piece of shit, full of spelling and grammar errors, by the way, and all sorts of typos, is basically a roadmap of what a bullshit investigation this was and what a disgrace the House Intelligence Committee was. On the GOP side. Much like the brief majority and minority reports released right after the GOP shut down the investigation that we've covered, the Republican report basically says, Trump and his guys met with Russians a lot and failed to disclose that a lot, and they were probably doing wrong things, but there was no collusion. And the Democrat response says, quote, here's the zillion things the GOP didn't give a shit to ask about, basically. So, for example, the GOP refused to follow up on a lead that could have proven Trump had advanced knowledge of the 2016 Trump Tower meeting. Wow. Donald Trump Jr. apparently made 3 calls after he set up the meeting. The first and third calls were to and from Emin Agalarov. He probably called him and then got his voicemail, and then Emin called him back. And the middle call, he got a phone call from a blocked number. And the Dems wanted to find out who that was. And the Republicans blocked them from finding that, from doing so. Why? Schiff said, quote, they didn't want to know whether he had informed his father and sought permission to take that meeting with the Russians. They don't want to know.
They say you shouldn't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
Exactly. God. If that call to a private number or from a private number was his father, it would mean the president has lied about when he knew about the meeting, and it would show he was an active participant in the matter. Quote, it speaks to the It speaks to all the majority was determined to ignore, unquote, basically. Determined to ignore. So many facts. The reason Dems suspect Trump knew about the meeting is that because on June 7th, the day after Donald Trump Jr. made those 3 calls, after he set up that meeting, Trump said in a speech, quote, I am going to give a major speech on probably Monday of next week, and we're going to be discussing all of the things that have taken place with the Clintons, and I think you'll find it very, very interesting. The Trump Tower meeting happened 2 days later, and the promised dirt was never handed over, and the major speech never happened. So that's...
They got played.
I know it's connecting dots. It's it's not beyond a reasonable doubt, or, it's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt, but...
It's definitely smoke.
And I'm sure Mueller knows who that call was from.
Oh, yeah.
So... I wonder if we'll ever find out. You guys could keep my head alive. Just freeze my head.
There we go. That'll be at the MSW Live.
I like how you act like you're like 100 years older than us or something. Like,
she's just preparing.
We're not that far behind you.
Well, if it was 40 years to release them, I'll be 84, dude. I'll be like RBG.
Yeah. Each week of covering this too, it feels like a year. Like it's
we're
so
just gonna
much
come
happened.
in just to get like just visible signs of aging. It's too much,
right? Like Obama's hair after he was
exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a major speech Monday. So DT Jr. sets up the meeting. Basically, calls Emin, no answer. His dad calls and says, "Hey, I got a meeting to get dirt on Hillary and her emails." And then Emin calls him back, and this time he answers and says, "Thanks, bro." And then Trump says, I'm going to make a speech Monday about the Clintons. And then the meeting happens. They don't get the dirt. And then there's no speech. It's so suspect. Either that or Donald Trump Jr. called Emin and they decided he'd call his father because he doesn't get email and plausible deniability is good with phone calls.
Right. So they're smart criminals or they're dumb criminals.
Yeah. Or they just thought someone was on their trail.
I didn't know the FBI could image phones. So
I would assume they could do anything
know.
in the movies. Like that's my go-to. Yeah.
They're pretty realistic movies.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like
art imitating life.
Yeah. Totally. Anyway, the House Intelligence Committee Dems never got to find out who called. Innocent people don't hide that shit. And people in Congress that aren't compromised don't ignore those kinds of things unless they don't want anyone to know who called Donald Trump the Jr. It makes zero sense. If there was no collusion, then no one should care if we find out who called him.
Right.
You're blocking it from happening. Actively blocking it. Not asking. Not like blocking. But don't worry, Mueller knows, like I said. And when the Dems take over Congress, they'll reopen this case and investigate everything.
Yes.
Schiff wanted to investigate. Schiff.
How do they do that without changing the subject of the investigation?
What do you mean?
Do they not have to switch? Can they reopen an investigation into the same thing?
Yeah, it's not a criminal
not
cool.
like double
trial.
jeopardy or
It's
anything.
just there's no
Nice. I
double
didn't know that.
jeopardy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And there are a few other things we know that we didn't know before because of this report, thanks to the idiot Republicans. For example, not all Republicans are idiots. Don't email me. Somebody said, I can't remember who it said. I think it might have been Bill Maher. He said, look, I'm not saying all Republicans are racist. What I'm saying is all racists are Republicans.
Which, honestly, that's got to be true. I've never met a racist Democrat.
No, me neither.
If you're out there, please tweet at us. Let us know you're alive.
Or at least not explicitly
Not
racist.
an overt racist, right?
Yeah.
For example, here's some things that we found out. We already knew Sessions had a secret meeting with Kislyak in 2016, and he lied to Congress about that. We knew that. But what we didn't know is that the IC told Trump and Sessions, that the intelligence community, told Trump and Sessions that they perceived Russia as a threat 22 days before that happened. We didn't know that. We also knew that Papadop was added to... That's Papadopoulos. I assume everyone's been listening forever.
Yeah. Someone's like, wait, who?
Papadoc? What is she talking about 8 Mile for? We also knew Papadopoulos was added to Trump's NatSec team, that's National Security Team, on March 21st, 2016, because that's what he told a Greek newspaper. But what the GOP report tells us is that he was a member of that team by March 14th, which is critical because Papadopoulos also told the Greek newspaper that he met privately with Trump earlier in the week. And if that was after he was on the National Security Team, then he most certainly told Trump about Mifsud, which is why Trump praised Papadopoulos by name on March 21st when he added him, quote unquote, to the Security Council. That also explains the lack of surprise from Trump that J.D. Gordon reported in that meeting when Papadopoulos announced his Russia stuff to the National Security Council in that meeting, the Instagram picture meeting.
Exactly.
And Trump didn't react because he already met with Papadopoulos and knew about Mifsud in the email offer.
His poker face is just awful. Can't he even pretend?
That means Trump has known about contacts with Russia earlier than ever previously reported, and 2 months prior to the Trump Tower meeting. Already had emails on his mind. So now that's
sorry. That's really good work there.
It's conjecture.
Oh yeah,
but I'm right. Okay,
I believe it. Yeah.
Finally,
I love it.
one of my strengths as a leader. I'm always right.
That should be your catchphrase.
Yeah,
your second catchphrase.
I wish I could.
That's conjecture, but I'm right.
Yeah, that's how I legitimately would like to preface everything I say in my life.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just have a shirt.
Yeah. I'm an empath.
Nice.
Finally, we learned that the reason Kushner told Flynn, we're going back to Kushner and Flynn now, to start calling the Russian ambassador about the UN vote on Israel the day after the resolution was announced is because he already set up the back channel with Kislyak and he wasn't worried about being found out. He snuck Kislyak into Trump Tower 20 days prior and tried to set up that back channel. So basically, I'll explain this a little bit. I'll unpack it for you. Kushner told Flynn to start calling the so there was a UN resolution on the floor, right, to about Israel and their settlements on the Gaza Strip, and basically Obama wanted to abstain from voting. And to basically send a message to Netanyahu, like, dude, you got to stop this shit. I know we're pro-Israel, but we're not going to vote on this one.
Right.
And then immediately, everyone on the Trump team started calling all the UN ambassadors and asking them to delay the vote because they were pro this thing,
right,
or against,
right,
being against it. They pro-Israel,
yeah,
and
vote for them all the time, 100%.
Yes,
no other option.
And so Flynn, Kushner told Flynn to call the Russian ambassador about the UN vote the day after the resolution was announced, and he did it cavalierly and without caution. And the reason has to be because they had a back channel set up to do these kinds of things.
Yeah.
He might have used that secret back channel in order to get that done. So the GOP, again, may have shot themselves in the foot, but nothing is as amazing as this typo in the report. Quote, questionable contacts like the Trump Tower meeting resulted in collusion, conspiracy, or coordination with the Russian government. They meant to say did not result in collusion, and they left that part out.
That is
like
so
they
funny.
couldn't even lie. They just keep a straight face on paper.
I like to imagine they have two files. One says truth and one says lies.
And then one's like really
mixed
big
up
lies.
the copy. Yeah.
Totally. Who put the truth in my lies folder?
Come on, guys.
That was
a
Rob
tight ship
Porter's
here.
job. That's why it's all mixed up. He was the truth and lie paper guy.
Yeah.
Who put the truth in my lies folder? I love
in my
it.
kofefi.
Also, it was pretty hilarious how much the DOJ redacted this report. Like, obvious shit we know. Like blank went to Moscow in 2016, and it's Page, right? And then they blank, we know all these things. We know all the redacted material, but the DOJ, I think, was just like, these assholes. Let's just redact the shit out of this.
Yeah.
So that their report looks stupid. And let's not tell them about their typos and grammar problems.
Exactly.
It's so poorly written. It's
I want to
so
believe the
poorly
editor
written.
is just a rebel, and he's just like, I'm going to tell the truth. Yeah. People deserve to know.
Pop that out of there. That's so funny.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
The entire investigation in the House was a sham, you guys. And this report and the Democrat response just highlights that. I compare this report to, here's what I said on Twitter. I said, imagine, because all the Republicans and Trump are like, I'm exonerated. The report is out, no collusion. And here's what it's like. It would be like if the Gambino bosses from the Gambino family were arrested, and then a bunch of lower guys in the Gambino family put together a commission to investigate the bosses and then decided they were innocent.
Exactly.
That's what just happened.
Right, but the people that believe this is a victory, they have no idea. They probably really either watch Fox News or don't watch really anything, and they don't know that the GOP is involved. Because I was even most shocked by that, to find out that Congress was so... there's so many of them that were in on this that of course they're going to cover it up.
Our investigation was stronger than the,
seriously
the House
and the average a lot of my friends
Yeah,
they just don't watch any news, and so they just don't even know. They think that if Congress says this, they're like, oh, it's Congress. It must be true. I mean, Congress is Congress. I'm like, no, you don't know who's in Congress right now. Like, these are not good people.
They cheated to get there.
Seriously. So it's, education, man. Gosh.
Yeah, it's like how, so Starbucks says, I've already preached about this, but they say that they're all fair trade. But actually, only 10% of their coffee's fair trade. The rest of it, they just created their own certification program to certify it. And it's like, well, that doesn't count.
Knowledge is power. That's how people get you.
You can't create your own verification systems. Mm-hmm. That is the biggest undermining of justice ever.
I'd like to say that some of our proceeds go to Act Blue, but not all of them.
Right. Let's make that clear.
Just transparency.
Yeah. Now that we're on the topic.
We're still in the red. We're trying to get that paid off, but I am making continuous and consistent donations to Act Blue.
Good point.
We're corporate responsible people.
Not all the proceeds.
Right. If only Trump could be that self-reflective, just every now and then. That's all. I mean, we're not asking for much. It's like we joke about the fact that we're transparent. President. Yeah.
Just be a president.
This is insane. This whole podcast is based on the fact that our president is just like not normal.
He's under investigation.
Not even a normal person, I think. Like, what's God?
Yeah, I don't know, guys. All right, well, we'll be back in a second. We'll talk more about this, okay? Thanks for listening to Mueller, She Wrote. The she in Mueller, She Wrote is no accident. Did you know we are 100% women-owned and operated? Every single person that helps make this podcast possible identifies as a woman. Our creative and web design, our engineer and our producers, our editor, our digital media manager, our agent, our ad executives, our merchandising manager, our writers, the facility manager for our 3rd of July live show, female, and even the USPS clerk that helps me with shipping, all women and all LGBTQ plus allies. We will continue to employ and partner with women as our podcast grows, but we could use your help. Please support women in podcasting by visiting MuellerSheWrote.com and becoming a patron today. All right, we're back. You guys ready for the Fantasy Indictment League?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so a new story that sounded old dropped about our old friend Veselnitskaya. She's the Russian lawyer that went to the Trump Tower meeting with promises of dirt on Hillary Clinton, but really just ended up giving a Magnitsky lecture.
Oh, yeah.
And handing over the same dossier to the Trump team that she gave to Rohrabacher a couple months earlier. But no collusion. The headline for the New York Times is, quote, Russian lawyer at Trump Tower meeting had closer ties to Kremlin than previously disclosed. So we here at MSW were correct. Ding, ding, ding. And if you're a binge listener, you read this and you read this and went, yeah, we know that already. This means she could have lied to special counsel about her ties to the Kremlin, which means I'm bumping her up in the fantasy indictment team.
Oh, yeah.
Also, there's a few sealed indictments on the docket right now. I think one of them is for Manafort. If you remember my prediction that Manafort will have superseding indictments for collusion, I think they're coming. And they've been there since January. And I think that once legislation is passed in New York closing the double jeopardy loophole, those puppies are going to drop.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, like Peter Brady's voice in season 3, episode 16 of The Brady Bunch.
Nice.
It's even true for voices when boys begin to grow. You gotta take a lesson from Mother Nature, and if you do, you'll know. When it's time to change, then it's time to change.
And then I have one more theory I want to drop on you guys. I was asking, and I've had some discussions, and I still don't know the answer. What if new Congress, new Democratic Congress, now, first let me set this up by saying we can retroactively declare war. We did it for 9/11. It's like, you know, all the people who are veterans from that time of war will get special benefits or special consideration, and all the money can be spent from different buckets, and just all sorts of reasons to go back and declare war to a date in the past. And I'm wondering if new Congress, Democrat Congress, declares war, cyber war on Russia, either going back to the Cold War or just 2015. That would categorize all the Trump crimes as treason.
You're totally right.
So
retroactively speaking, that would make total sense.
And I looked, I don't know that ex post facto applies because it's not a law, it's a declaration of war. And I don't know if the writ of attainder applies. I've done a lot of research trying to figure out if this is feasible.
Right.
And I don't honestly know. I really can't say.
Have you heard anybody talking about that in Congress at all?
I haven't heard. This is the first I've heard of it is when it came out of my brain.
Interesting.
So, I don't know.
That would be awesome. I mean, if we get the benefits that we're looking for. But, I don't know. That would be almost...
Well, if we did it with 9/11, and I'm sorry to cut you off, I was just thinking about... A lot of experts with this whole Russia thing, they say that this is like the new 9/11, but people aren't looking at like the burning towers in this case. They're all delayed to it. So maybe like you're saying retroactively, if it happened with 9/11, being that was an instant attack that everyone acknowledged, and then this is, I guess, by experts, supposed to be a new 9/11, that could happen. I don't see why not.
Right.
But
And I think Trump has actually been negligent in not declaring it
totally
an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. As predictable.
How much power would the House have? Is that their thing? They can do that? They can declare war no matter, like, they don't need anyone else?
Congress has to authorize war.
So the whole Congress, okay.
But but like sometimes not even anymore. Like sometimes we call things war that aren't actually wars so that we can get the benefit of calling it a war. Like the Vietnam conflict was never a war.
Okay.
Like there's sometimes just presidential authorizations for use of force, like Obama in Syria, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Trump, not like Obama in Syria, he couldn't get congressional approval, so he didn't. But Trump did not get congressional
for the Syria
authorization
attack.
for war, for bombing Syria either time.
Interesting.
But he's putting it up under the 9/11 thing because it's against terrorism, but it's not. It's Syria, so
it can be done basically. Yeah.
My only thing would be that people going back in history wouldn't see an event that is as catastrophic as 9/11, so it would be harder for them to maybe
I think
declare
you're right.
that retroactively.
Even though you might think you believe it's just as bad, obviously, right?
Yeah,
like,
well, that's like Obama wasn't tough enough.
Right.
Sorry to criticize Obama, but he wasn't tough on Russia. He wasn't tough enough on Russia.
Yeah.
During his,
this is a new. Yeah, you're totally right. It's not to say that you're wrong about anything, but it is a new type of war. Yeah.
I'm not wrong about anything.
Never.
And there's another consideration too. You could just charge him with treason and have him sue and go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court can decide if we are actually at war.
Oh, cool. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Unless it's, obviously it has to go through the lower courts.
Right,
The
there's a couple of different avenues.
The Supreme Court could kick it back. It would have to stick with the last courts.
But it's not the bicameral legislature that has to have any sort of bearing on it. The courts can.
They may or may not. I don't know. That's just it. I just don't know.
Yeah, this is crazy. There could be so many different avenues for this.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense, right? Because cyber warfare, if you just conceive of war as people dying, and it's different now.
We were attacked.
So, yeah.
I mean, hacking is one thing, like what China does. They just hack and grab. But hacking and grabbing and using, and weaponizing what you've hacked, that's war.
They assaulted us. It's just not in ways that we're used to, like you were saying, Jordan. It's got to be an awakening of the nation to what is the new war, the new big crime. It's not a nuclear power as much as it is like Putin has control of our electrical grids, he claims, right? He has like control.
He's shut down stuff.
Yeah, so he's like, you know what? You guys are either going to do what I say or eventually I can shut down everything. And I don't believe he would not do it. Why wouldn't he? He murders people for sport. Of course he would shut down America. Like, he'd laugh the whole time.
He's proven already that he is not beyond weaponizing cyber attacks.
Yeah,
so.
People need to wake up. So tell a friend.
Yeah. Tell a friend.
Pass it along.
Just at your next party, just be a buzzkill.
Next little brunch.
Treason. Tell a friend.
Yeah. Retroactive war declaration. Let's talk about that over dinner.
Yeah, it's conjecture, but I'm right.
You think you're safe?
Seriously.
You're not.
Yeah. I love that catchphrase.
Are you guys ready for sabotage?
Yes.
Alrighty. You guys, I'm sure, have heard about this. It's been speculated on by a few people in my inner circle, and now it's spreading, the rumor is spreading, that Trump is actually the person who made the $1.6 million payout to a Playboy playmate to get an abortion, and Brody is the fall guy.
Damn. For that to be the thing that Trump says, okay, I'm not going to take the fall for this personally, because it seems like with Stormy Daniels, he caved. Is it the amount of money, you think? He's like, that's just too much money to cover up.
I don't know, but what I know for sure is that he's acting like this Stormy Daniels thing is worse than it is.
Right.
So that's why he's acting like this could be true.
Which means that, of course, if he paid more money, that would be a bigger deal.
Because he paid for an abortion.
That's right. Brody thinks
that's
abortion.
Political suicide if you're a
Holy
Republican.
shit.
I mean, you would want to believe it, and I bet you're right. I just also, there's a little part of me that's afraid that it wouldn't matter. Like you said,
Trump supporters would be like, she was a whore.
Yeah,
she deserved an abortion or something.
Right. The social things I wanted to bring him down, but it might be the legal things. Yeah, like the social things, like all of us would want that, like the grab him by the pussy and dropping the N-bomb. Like we want to believe those things would make a difference, but his base and the GOP has proven that it does not matter. Right?
He said I could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and I wouldn't lose voters, and he basically did because the building caught on fire and a guy died on Fifth Avenue. Jesus. And he didn't have a sprinkler system installed.
Right. You're so right.
He pretty much killed somebody on Fifth Avenue and he didn't lose any voters. I think it's actually ticked up a couple percentage points.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Now he's up for reelection. Like people are like, yeah, now I'm voting for him. He's got
Killed a guy.
Yeah.
That is crazy to think about.
The bodies are buried, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, questions. Time for questions and comments. At Al Smith 751462234, also known as If 6 Was 9, asked, quote, "Is Jill Stein on your fantasy league list? She's getting more attention these days. I've heard you mention her, but definitely think it's worthy of consideration."
Yeah, I would love to report on her maybe one day or something, because I feel like we haven't talked too extensively about that, but that's nuts.
That would be great,
I still have a minisode available to write, so maybe we could do a Jill Stein.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, it was going to be why Cohen would flip. No, that's the
today.
first one. Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah, that's today's. Okay. At Danifesto says, quote, "When Mueller calls Ivanka, Eric, and Donald Trump Jr., which one do you think will flip first?" Somebody said Barron.
Yeah.
He's practicing his cartwheels.
Melania.
Dude,
I wonder if Melania is cooperating. Just that would be so great.
Just like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Just behind.
Is there such thing as like synchronized flipping, like a beautiful like choreography,
like dolphins?
Yeah,
or
tandem diving.
Definitely,
totally.
The whole family's in on it.
That's such a beautiful way to imagine them just taking him down.
I would like to think that because Ivanka cried when Trump said that about the pussy grabbing thing, that maybe she'd flip first, but I don't know.
Who knows? You're right, though. That would be the only tip off.
They're all such terrible people.
Such awful men in her life. Like
just like latent teenage rebellion. Fuck you, Dad. You know what? I'm done.
Yeah, they've probably been waiting for this moment.
Draco Malfoy, aka Eric Trump, aka who was it from Nosferatu?
Yeah, that's so
I can't tell you where I got that picture,
so
but I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Ian Harvey, a friend of mine who was just on Will and Grace, he would just made it onto an episode of Will and Grace.
Amazing. Congrats.
He's so great. He's just an all-around awesome human being. He asked how long before Rudy G quits and under what reasons. I think it'll be soon, and I think it's going to be because of
it's too hard.
He's part of the investigation.
Yeah.
He's under investigation by the FBI right now. I'm that's again conjecture, but I'm right. For the leaks from the New York field office on the Hillary emails on the Wiener laptop. I just love saying the Wiener laptop because I have one. No.
It's just shaped like dick and balls.
It's just all wieners all the time. You just open it up and it's wieners.
I love it.
Ergonomically, it's horrible, but
they are, aren't they? Very bad for the wrists. Unless you, never mind. So I think it'll be soon, and I think it'll be because I don't think he's going to be allowed to represent him because he's under investigation in this investigation. And I think that there's going to be some evidence in the Cohen raid that might also implicate him. So I think for those reasons, not long.
Right.
At 5Hampton5, Janelle asked, quote, "Do you think Trump will become a target at some point? I don't know if Mueller's going to indict him or not. Mueller might go by strict Constitution and DOJ rules and just write his report on obstruction and recommendation for impeachment and then indict everybody else, because he may be of the ilk that you can't indict a sitting president. So I really honestly don't know. I'm leaning toward that he won't indict Trump. He'll just write a report recommendation.
Yeah. It would be very character of him to be by the book.
It would.
And sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's very by the book, and he also, I feel like he would think that was political theater or something.
Yeah, indicting the president would be very dramatic. I don't think he'd want that kind of attention if he could avoid it.
Especially in an investigation where the intelligence community has been attacked this entire time. To do something that's a little bit more extreme could maybe put it in history books. Yeah, not want to run the risk of
like
it going...
Comey. He'll pass it to the reporters in Congress like, hey, you guys make this final choice.
Yeah, we're just going to do our job. And
I imagine Mueller saying that it's not my job to impeach the president. It's the people's job to impeach the president.
Very Comey-esque. Yeah, yeah.
Or just not
very
re-elect
Mueller-y.
Very democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much democracy.
I was thinking the other day, as Trump is going insane, we're all just really blindly relying on the foundations of our Constitution to hope that they do. It's scary though, because we're getting right up to the edge with this guy.
It worked on Clinton and it worked on Nixon. So
I have faith, despite the fact that they didn't have Fox and Friends. Like, I get that they didn't have an organization behind them that was like affecting 33% of the population, but those 33%, I don't think they're going to be enough to overcome all. Like, if the blue wave is a true blue and like the Russians don't swoop in and somehow, what if they screw up the numbers? They've done it before in Ukraine.
Yeah, that's why we have to be very, very diligent.
Very aware. Yeah.
Election, we have to get out and vote, particularly young people. Don't mess with my mind, man. Get out and vote.
Seriously.
If I watch the election results and it turns out that only 17% of you showed up to the polls, I'm gonna be angry. But I'm gonna be mad.
We have to know if the numbers are messed with by knowing how many people are on board. There's a chance that Putin already did this last time and we just haven't caught. Like,
he did, and that's why we absolutely have to make sure we do this hard because we're fighting two battles. We're fighting Republicans and Russians.
Absolutely. Wow, the two R's.
I know. God.
Yeah.
JC Doulos one first apologized for asking questions every week and then said, regarding Rosenstein, is he technically a witness? How can he oversee the investigation?
Oh.
Yes. I don't know if he, Mueller might have just left that whole piece out. It's not like him, though. So I don't know. He may be waiting to investigate until he's closer to the end. On that piece, he may wait to interview Rosenstein as a witness until the very lasties, so that, if he has to recuse himself, it won't be for long.
Right. What if it's that, like, this is one of those areas where, cause now that I think of it, I'm like, yeah, Rosenstein is totally a witness. He's part of the Comey 5, right? Or the Comey 6? Is he, like, one of the guys?
No, he wrote the letter recommending Comey's firing.
There we go. Okay, so, yeah, he's in it, though.
The bullshit pretext letter.
It almost seems like they're choosing to and I don't know if this... it's like that gray area where they're like, maybe it's worse if we let someone come after him than it is to let him stay. Because they could be very technical with the law, and then they can be very vague, and it seems like this is one of those times where, of course, Mueller had to ask himself this question too, right? Well, Mueller's under him, so I guess it wouldn't be his call. But who would be the one to even say that it's okay if you can stay? Like, you're okay with me?
Him.
Wow. It's a lot of trust in one guy.
I want a job like that.
Yeah, it's pretty job security on fleek. No, I believe in Rosenstein.
Probably Sessions, and I'm sure Mueller would advise him.
So there's a lot of filters.
I'm about to interview you, bro. You got to recuse yourself.
It's a great question, but I do believe that enough people with enough non-involvement have said, well, he can clearly stay. Even this is politics. It's not that like.
There's a legality to it, and
for sure
we aren't clear on it. Mueller knows, and that's what he's doing.
I feel like they have their reasons. Yeah,
I just trust, honestly. I just trust whatever Mueller is doing, and that whatever he's doing is legal.
I hope we find out the answer too. That would be nice to know.
Sean Parent told us that Manafort should get Elon Musk to testify that our reality is merely a video game created by an advanced civilization. So the judge might as well dismiss the charges because nothing is real.
Yeah, I vote that. Yeah, that's
I
nice.
love that.
Yeah.
So great. Thank you, Sean, for
I have a friend that actually believes that.
Well,
this is a simulation, yeah.
Well,
the odds are very high.
I was going to say, yeah.
The odds are very high.
Look at our technology. I mean, it's only
so fun to think about.
It is.
It's like technological reincarnation, I think.
I'm glad our little blips have come into contact, guys.
Yeah. Honestly, you guys are cool ass blips.
Thank you, Supreme.
Yeah, sexy blips.
Our consciousnesses have met up.
Morally sound blips.
Tara Siddall says, quote, "This podcast rocks. Thank you for breaking down this tangled legalese shitstorm into manageable mini storms. In layman's terms, 5 stars."
Oh, that's so nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
We found out this week we'll be doing some partnering with the Rabia Chaudhry on the 45th pod, so I'm excited for that.
So exciting.
You said it so casual, too. Like, it's not a big deal.
I'm forever humbled to work with women in media, and I'm so glad we get to meet and work with all these incredible women. And
Definitely.
I'm super.
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's so smart.
She wrote the book on Adnan Syed from Serial Podcast. She's amazing woman. At Crispus wants to know, Crispus1 wants to know, since the FBI has pretty much everything ever on Cohen, what could he possibly offer to get a lighter punishment? Well, here's the thing. His sworn testimony. That's the most powerful evidence ever.
A confession.
His sworn testimony in court.
This is
or
Cohen,
in
right?
front of the grand jury.
Yeah.
His testimony is worth $1 bazillion. And so, you got all the stuff, you know everything about him. But to get his cooperation, to get him to say it in front of the grand jury is everything.
Yeah.
Is that so for corroborating? If they seize all of that evidence and then they have this case built just based on evidence, only he would need to testify for it to corroborate it, right? Completely. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
As opposed to
another source, I guess, or something. That would be...
they could have all sorts of sources. But
Yeah,
himself.
I know that would be absurd for someone to incriminate themselves, but I just mean super, super technical. Like what is technically required?
They only need him, right?
Well, right, and presuming that he would have an agreement, he would have some sort of a reduced sentence, reduced charges. He is a family guy. He's a family.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a family man, but he has a family.
This is where the law is interesting to me for social purposes, because it sounds like they wouldn't need like physical. Well, they have like the documentations to follow the money, but it sounds like they would only need him to just confess it for them to just believe that these documents are.
You have to have all the documentation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I wondered too about it because especially in this case, what if him corroborating something actually is going to cover up something bigger because he's an agent for somebody else?
Playing chess.
So it's like at that point would they need it to be corroborated by someone else aside from him? If they
as much corroboration as you can get, obviously, is better.
Yeah, got it.
But the actual person testifying to what they had in their possession is 10 times stronger than just the documents.
Yeah, and if he's playing Mueller somehow, he's not smart enough, I think, to pull it off. But if he is, then Mueller can always go back and get him, right?
16 phones.
Yeah. Come on. How many drugs are you selling, bro?
Burner, right?
Oh
like
my God,
some bodega
that's so
made
funny.
a bunch of money off of just buying and selling phones to that guy.
Seriously.
Garrett
frequents Metro PCS.
Totally. Your Cricket subscription has expired. Garrett Bergstrom wants to know if any punishment can be charged against Republican members of the House Intelligence Committee. I hope. I don't know. I honestly
want to spank him.
I don't
give him a good spanking.
I don't think I know enough about the law itself to know. But I would assume RICO or espionage or obstruction, certainly obstruction of justice. You'd have to prove intent. That's hard. So, I mean, I guess it's just all, it's all up to whoever investigates them.
Yeah,
and
the
whether
evidence
whether it's Mueller or not.
You're right.
I don't know.
They could have the evidence and look the other way. It's unfortunate.
Well, no, Mueller wouldn't do that.
Mueller wouldn't do it, no, but you're right. It depends on who's investigating.
I think, I mean...
he should be able to get them if he wanted to. Yeah, he can get anyone. But they'd probably be smaller fish is what I'm thinking. Like, hopefully he would go far enough to punish anyone in Congress, but I think he would only need to get the top people for this to be a
but
done
he's
deal.
the kind of guy that follows every single lead to its very end and punishes everyone.
Yeah.
His joy in life is putting malefactors in jail. So
that's what he does. Yeah. I have faith. I have a lot of faith in
I do
his
as well.
thoroughness.
I do as well. And people say, "Oh, if you don't like the people you're investigating, that's bad." I'm like, it shouldn't make a difference. It should make you actually better as an investigator. If you don't like them, if you anyway,
that's such a weird thing. I feel you.
That is, and it's just such a inevitable conflict you're going to have in the justice system. Like, think about the defense attorneys that have to, fucking go to court for child molesters. There's always going to be scenarios where it's not very likely that you're going to be on the side of the person that you have to represent.
Well, Francisco was arguing in the Supreme Court for the Muslim ban this week, so he can't have been happy about that.
Oh no.
At least I hope not, but maybe he is. Maybe he hates Muslims. I don't know what's in Francisco's heart.
Yeah, we learn something new every day.
I had a roommate that hated Muslims. She's one of those white women that voted for Trump. She doesn't think she's a racist either. She's like, look at their Bible, like the Quran. It says that they hate Americans. And I'm like, where'd you get that app? Like, did Putin make an app and you downloaded what you thought was the Quran?
Putin's Quran.
Yeah.
At Segurio wants to know what surprised us each the most in this week's news cycle.
Which was most surprising?
Yeah, what was surprised you
I
the
think
most?
the Fox and Friends really floored me.
That was insane.
Because he lost it like an old man, just like off his rockers. Like, I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was surprising to me that Fox let it go on for that long and that they didn't rein him in at all, and that there was
they tried.
That was very surprising.
And the ending, they're like, yeah, I think you probably are really busy. And we should go.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot to do.
It was so obvious they cut him off. That was shocking, yeah.
God.
I know. I think the most shocking thing to me this week was that Trump probably knew and called DT Jr. and knew about the 2016 Tower meeting.
Yeah, that should be the biggest story.
And knew about it. And
he was buried by his rant.
Also that he knew about the Mifsud stuff.
Yes, technically for sure that's the most important news.
Less juicy to people.
It goes to the whole what did he know and when did he know it? What did the president know and when did he know it? Just to quote Watergate.
Did he time I wonder what the timeline of these articles came out, because did he know that this news was coming out? Do you think Trump tried to distract us with a chaotic rant? Did they overlap at all? No,
I don't know.
Interesting. I think because Comey says Trump is above average intelligence, and I think a lot of us underestimate that. We think he's like average or below. So if Comey's saying above, I mean, underestimating Trump's intelligence could be like our downfall. Like, I don't know.
You know, it's also very surprising to me, and this is not directly related to us, but Michelle Wolf getting so much shit for her White House Correspondents' Dinner, because I watched Hasan Minhaj's, and it is just as biting as hers is.
Yeah.
And it's just as critical, and he got nothing compared to what Michelle Wolf is getting.
I haven't seen her like the people against her, because I have my liberal bias media like in my bubble, but what are they saying? What kind of things?
She's just getting super attacked for being mean to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Everybody's talking about that. They will not stop talking about it. And Trump didn't even go because he's so fucking...
Because he's a snowflake.
Because he doesn't support the First Amendment.
Yeah, he can't take a joke.
No, he doesn't support freedom of the press. That's why he doesn't go.
That's for sure. Most importantly.
And it's like, are they doing this because she's a female? That's why they're attacking her more? I don't want to just jump to that,
right,
but that's
the female
definitely worth
aspect,
exploring.
her shrill voice, she's, biracial. I mean, there's so many elements. I mean, Assange was like, he's a minority too, so I thought that he got a little backlash from what I remember, but you're probably right. If I look up, I can imagine that Michelle Wolf got way more.
It's just really bad on Twitter. Yeah. It's really bad.
When women are really funny and really snarky, because she did not hold back. Nope. It's like, it's intimidating. That's why women in podcasting is not just a thing we say. It's like there are a lot of people that hate to hear women speak their minds.
My favorite is, what do you call it, an Uncle Tom? What's the Uncle Tom for white women?
Aunt Coulter.
Aunt Coulter.
Yeah. Also, when she says calling a Nazi a white nationalist is like calling a pedophile a kid friend.
Brilliant.
So funny.
Dude,
funny, man.
Like the best jokes ever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and
he's
some guy on Facebook was like, just proving the old stereotype, women aren't funny. And
how could he?
Fuck you.
I told him, I was like, you and me, anytime, any stage, I will wipe the floor with you.
Oh, that's the joke off guy.
And he blocked me.
Of course. Of course.
Shit.
Like, seriously, being in comedy, like, all of us know
Julian
this.
Metzmeyer, I'm calling you out.
Julian Metzmeyer.
Metzmeyer. You think... Yeah, Julien.
That'd be so epic. Have like a Zoolander joke off.
Metzmeyer.
And no ripping off jokes. We don't do that knock street joke shit around here.
No, I'm just going to do a set.
No, not you.
Do a set.
I think he needs to know. He sounds like he doesn't know comedy.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do a roast battle. I'm just I do a set, you do a set.
Hey.
And we'll see.
Let's see which gender happens to be funnier.
And if you don't do this, you are a chicken shit. I've already got every major comedy club offering me stage time. Not every major comedy club, the Improv in Hollywood didn't
you
call
have
me.
you've been doing this for a minute, like a while. Yeah, people underestimate women in comedy to this day, and it blows my mind because we see so many great women, and we're like, you just don't even explore, you just don't even like browse Netflix, like you don't even know. People
bring it, Metzmeyer.
Yeah.
Yep,
I'm waiting for you.
I wonder if he even watched. Like, you think he watched Michelle and said this isn't funny, or he didn't even watch it because she was hilarious. How do you not know what funny is?
Amazing. I was like, what a brilliant writer.
Everyone was kind of like, oh,
right.
She dropped some F-bombs.
She did.
Oh yeah,
but rightfully so.
And pussy, and it was. She doesn't give a fuck.
Clean.
No, but she's so smart and brilliant and poignant, and it's like it was fantastic.
George Carlin, he said it himself. You know, like you can do clean, and that's great, but like sometimes fuck is just the best word to describe how you're feeling. And in this era, I mean, like, even Ellen said fuck on her show when Trump was elected. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Like the first episode after Trump got elected, she screamed fuck on the show, but she had like a blowhorn like going at the same time.
I love it.
At SF Huntress 2018 says, "What exactly is Jared doing? He has lower class. He has a lower classification than the calligrapher. Is he just folding napkins?
He's plotting his escape.
Yeah, he's doing side work at the White House, just rolling silverware up.
Yeah,
it's the pool boy.
Yeah, he's in the garden.
Yeah, I mean, the sad reality is, like we talked about a couple episodes ago, Trump can still disclose to him whatever he wants to. So he can essentially function in the same way he was before. It's just not...
Right, and right now I think what he's out trying to do is raise money to get himself out of debt on that building
goal.
He's about to close some deal on. I can't remember.
Before they get kicked out, because they know it's a possibility. I mean, Trump wants to stay, but he's probably preparing. He's like, get all the money you can, and telling all his Kremlin friends to hide their money.
Oh, well, not for this particular thing. He's $1.2 billion in debt on
you don't think they can raise it
on
by
his 666 Fifth Avenue property.
Go to another country.
I think the UAE probably hooked him up for the intel that he gave him on traitors to the crown.
Exactly. Seriously. And if that doesn't work, just threaten some other country.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I got a message from Jennifer Nebaker. She wanted to hear the rest of the conversation we had to cut, where Jaleesa was explaining that slavery has helped fuel the racism that has led to 61% of black women being raped. Quote, I know AG tried to roll it back and clarify that she had no place speaking on this, but I felt like Jaleesa never got to make her point without being interrupted by a white woman. I'm a white woman too, and I say this out of love and respect, unquote. So, Jaleesa, I apologize once again for having to cut that short.
Of course, thank you.
And I wanted to give you the opportunity to finish your point on that.
Definitely. So, I was looking at some stats, and so the Department of Justice estimates that for every white woman that reports her rape, at least 5 white women do not report theirs, but for every African-American woman that reports her rape, at least 15 African-American women do not report theirs. So, there's a lot of reasons why people think black women may choose to not report the incidents of sexual assault. Some people think that there's fear that they won't be believed and they'll be blamed for their attack, but I guess the most unique challenges is just that there's a history, in my experience of being assaulted by black men, there's a history of like not wanting to give in to the portrayal that black men are predators, but then there are cases where there are white men that assault, and then that seems to fall under the idea of with the racial stereotypes and the history of oppression. It's like you just don't even consider the struggles of someone of that community as relevant as someone who hasn't been so oppressed or hasn't been so demeaned. So it's not a very conscious thing, I think, in 2018 that people say, oh, a black woman who's raped by, let's say, a white man is just raped because of slavery. It's more like, well, historically, they're not as valued as people. So generation after generation, it becomes this thing where maybe someone thinks that they're not racist or they think they're a feminist, and then they get in a situation where it becomes convenient to look the other way because society already does. And then that's where the, stigma happens.
And rape is all about power.
For sure.
So if you've got any kind of overt or covert racism going on in your head, you're going to feel probably more powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comment that you made too, it's interesting. I've like read theories from, not theories, but just opinion pieces by black women that black women need to be really careful with when they're accusing other black men of violence, because black men are already
considered to be the mongrels and
exactly. They're the ones that are, unarmed getting.
I'm thinking back to it, like I was taught not to snitch on sexual predators in the family, and I never thought about why. And then as an adult, being around not other white people, I'm not white, being around white people, it's a whole different thing. It's like, oh, I might, who knows? What is race? I used to think that like I felt safer around white men, and then
simulation
it turns out,
is really messed up. Elon Musk.
Yeah, like there's just so much. It's not just about white people being like like the bad person or something in this case. It's really just about systematically. Not only do white people fall victim to this this power trip, but black people sometimes like we suppress our own struggle, and we also we believe that we're safe and forget that there is systematic racism, and so we end up falling victim to things where we should have known better. It's like, oh, well, how could you, think it's okay? I mean, like, for me personally...
You're starting to get into victim blaming, though.
Exactly. It's a big problem for someone like me who feels like there's a lot of gray area in things. And so now I'm learning about the patterns, and I'm like, well, you got to draw a line. Otherwise, I'm giving into this, gray area in a negative way. I'm saying, well... things happen, but no, there are real statistics that are showing that this is why it happens, and you can stop it by acknowledging it. And there's things I can do, but that's not the point. The point is that
your job.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that other people can do, and
the job is to stop raping people.
Yeah, I mean that's so crazy.
The onus is on rapists to stop raping people. It's not on anyone else.
Women to be careful. We have not taught men really systematically to not rape.
To stop raping people.
Yeah, and I know women rape too, but I'm talking about like the majority. It's not an all lives matter thing, like just focusing in on this issue. Yeah, we need to teach men to
so as soon as we tackle rape, man on man on being the rapist, rape, or just man on man, man on woman.
Yeah.
As soon as we tackle that problem, we'll work on
the next one.
We'll work on the women rapists.
Right, they're all problems. We got to prioritize by the majority of issues.
I think that one of them might happen more often.
Definitely. Yes. I mean, the Department of Justice is like, this is a problem. For every one African American that reports it, 15 don't. I didn't report 90% of the times I was assaulted in my life, and I had to count probably over a dozen times. And that I just started to report it this year, and I see the backlash.
And there's all sorts of
systematic.
Things. There's got to be just a distrust for law enforcement is probably a part of it. There has to be. For me, I didn't report because I thought it was my fault.
Yeah, victims are the best at victim blaming. We really are.
And then another time I tried to report and was told that if I did, I would get in trouble. So it's
so systematic.
Many reasons not to report.
So many layers.
And I'm sure that race is going to compound the issue.
For sure. And we just got to tackle that so that we can tackle all the non-racial issues with sexual assault. I mean, they're all important. But yeah, the stats show that Black women have it pretty bad. And I didn't know that growing up. I didn't realize that I was special. I thought that it was just the way everyone, was.
So. I'm so sorry to hear that, Jaleesa.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's one time is too many. So to hear you talk about how frequent it was is it's unfathomable.
Definitely. There are people that they seek out people, and maybe this is also subconscious, but once you see a window of opportunity and you've, let's say, never raped, it's like if you think you can get away with it, I mean, even the best people, it's a bit, Me Too, it's huge for a reason. It's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. So yeah, even good people, sadly enough, and Bill Cosby, that's a huge win, I think, but this is a guy who Black people say that is being targeted because he wanted to buy NBC, and a lot of people are so convinced that he's being targeted for being a rich Black man. I'm like, come on, we have to draw. Yeah, so sorry. That's
nope. I wanted to give you.
That's everything.
I wanted you to reclaim your time.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you guys. It's been a great episode. I'm grateful for everyone listening. I'm really grateful for the two of you guys. You two of the most amazing women I know.
Steve, so you too.
For now,
best.
I'm glad you like what we've created. For now, I'm AG.
I'm Jaleesa Johnson.
I'm Jordan Coburn,
and this is Mueller, She Wrote. Mueller, She Wrote is produced and engineered by AG with editing and logo design by Jaleesa Johnson. Market consulting by Amanda Reeder and Unicorn Creative. Our digital media director and subscriber manager is Jordan Coburn. Our partners are fastgrass.org and joysteaspoon.com. Fact-checking and research by AG with support from Jaleesa Johnson and Jordan Coburn. This week's episode of Mueller, She Wrote is written by AG, Jaleesa Johnson, Jordan Coburn, Sarah Hirschberger Valencia, Jesse Egan, and Sarah Lee Steining. Our web design and branding is by Joel Riga with Moxie Design Studios, and our website is MuellerSheWrote.com.